What's up, sexy people, and welcome to another episode of Geographical Freedom, where I, Mr. Tom, will be giving you advice, tips, tricks, and ideas around travel, but also how to develop an income portfolio that you can manage literally from anywhere in the world as long as you got access to the internet. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, I suggest subscribing to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos to deal with those topics. Now, for today's video, what I want to share with you guys is 3 strategies that you can earn an income online through the platform Airbnb. Now, I'm sure most of you have probably already heard of Airbnb, but for those of you who don't know exactly what it is, quite simply, it's an online booking platform where people who own a space, which you don't also have to own a space, I'll go into that soon, but generally people who own a space, whether it be a caravan, a home, a granny flat, a converted bus like the one behind me, that they have free, may it be just for a period of time because you're going on holidays, or maybe it's an extra part of your property that is wasted space that you could be making an income from. Regardless, the idea is that you create a profile of that space, you upload it to the platform on Airbnb. People from all over the world who are traveling to visit the location that your space is situated can then look at your photos, look at your profile, look at the sort of parameters and the rules that you want to put onto that property. If someone wants to come and stay in that property, you also nominate a price. They'll even give you suggested prices as to what people who've got similar properties in the area are charging, so that you can get an idea of what's a competitive rate. And then you upload that, and they can basically book that and then come and stay. Now, of course, this particular strategy does require someone to generally receive the customers and also to clean up once they've gone. It also does require answering online when someone wants to make a booking. Now, of course, that can be done online, but the cleaning and the receiving the people, they're 2 things that require, obviously, someone to be around. Now, the receiving side of things is quite easy. You can actually put a lockbox on the front of the house, and as a part of the booking process, you can give the customer who books the accommodation access to the actual PIN number for that lockbox, which will then give them a key to get into the property, and they just put it back there once they leave. This makes it simple for both the customer and for yourself, because you don't actually physically have to be there to receive them or to check them out. Now, so that solves that problem, and it means you can manage that still from abroad. But what about the cleaning? Now, of course, you can actually hire somebody to do the cleaning, and there are apps like Airtasker where you can actually put out to people, cleaners, contracts, or perhaps you probably want to actually organize a cleaner prior, so that you've got a system set up which enables you to continue traveling around the world or be wherever you want to be, yet you're still able to take bookings, have people check in and out quite easily, but then have the place cleaned up and ready for the next customer that's going to be booking and checking in. So there's how you can actually manage from abroad. The most common strategy, or most commonly known strategy, which is the owner-renter strategy. The second strategy that I want to talk to you about is actually something that I did about 5 years ago when I was renting. Now, I didn't own the property. I was renting it was a fully contained, self-contained studio apartment just on the outskirts of Melbourne in Australia. Of course, I put all my things in there, so I furnished the place. But I finished up with a contract that I was working on, and I had a number of months that I kind of just wanted to go away on holidays. But I was paying around about $1,300 a month in rent for that place, which is quite a large expense if you're not earning any income. So I sort of started thinking about how I can then potentially rent the space out. I spoke to my landlord, which luckily I did have a relationship with my landlord that was good. And that enabled me to convince them that I needed to go on a holiday, and that I would organize someone to sublet the place and take care of it. And if there was any issues, of course, I'd be liable for it. They trusted me. They were happy for me to do that. So I sublet the apartment as a fully furnished apartment in a popular location of Melbourne over the high season, over the summer season. So I was actually able to get twice what I was paying for rent on that property by putting it up during that season on Airbnb. So not only did I get my rent covered, but I actually earned about an extra $1,200 per month, which enabled me to cover the cost of my flights to Thailand and then actually cover a majority of my living costs whilst I was there. So in essence, it was like a free holiday, or a holiday that paid for itself. So a little bit of thinking outside the box. Now, a few things to be aware with that strategy. It does depend, obviously, on a few things. One, in some parts of the world, the regulations around Airbnb are different to others, which means they can be more strict or not. So you want to just check in whether that is something that is possible in the area that you're working in or living in. But also, of course, it is determined by the relationship that you have with your landlord, because they have to approve it. Otherwise, you can get into a lot of trouble for doing that without getting their permission. Now, the third strategy and the final strategy that I wanted to go, and also just on that last one, I will put a link somewhere in the description which goes through some of the recommendations if you were going to actually do it as a renter rather than a property owner. But the third strategy that I wanted to talk to you about is something that they've basically enabled just in the last 12 months or so, and it's a thing called Airbnb Experiences. Now, what that basically means is if you have an idea, like a product or a service that you might be able to share with people coming to your area, you can now promote that on Airbnb as an experience for the area that people are going to stay. So that might be something as simple as an arts drawing class. It might be a music class. It might be a bushwalk in the area. It might be bike rentals, canoe rentals, you name it. If you've got wine tasting, your imagination really is the limit. You can put up a description of that activity onto Airbnb. If people like it and they like how much you want to charge for it, they can book that activity through Airbnb, and once you perform that activity, the charges go through and you get paid. Now, of course, that does require you to actually be there. It doesn't require you to own any property or land. But again, you could simply be the mediator. So if you know people that have got a product or service, you can simply put their product or service up online and take a commission or a cut and then pay them for performing the service as well, which will enable you to then manage that from online, again, from anywhere in the world. So there you have it. They're my 3 strategies for earning an income that can be managed online through the platform Airbnb. If you like what I've just shared with you and you got some value out of it, then please share it around. Give it a like, and I'd love to hear comments. If you do have any other strategies that you've used with Airbnb or that you've heard about with Airbnb that you'd like to share with the viewers, then please pop that in the bottom in the comments below. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out, hippies.